Over the last 10 years, it seems, a new crime wave has appeared. It's a grey crime wave. The over 60s are apparently becoming increasingly lawless, and the number of old age pensioners in British jails has increased by 150%.
If they say I've breached it, then I will go to prison.
They fitted us up in such a way to make it look like we were conspiring together to run a brothel. We both got 15 months in prison.
Yeah, but see, when you go to prison or detention centre, it's like a college, isn't it? Everybody's in for something else. So you come out knowing more than when you went in.
The picture, of course, is not quite as simple as it seems. Old age criminals come in all shapes and sizes. For some, it's just the continuation of a long career. A forensic psychiatrist who studied the grey crime wave is Trevor Turner.
There are born criminals. I mean, we can't get away from that. There are some people who like being criminals, and I think it is very addictive criminal behaviour, particularly if you get away with it. Well, nowadays, in our 50s and 60s, you don't have to retire. I suspect this applies to armed robbers and criminals as much as accountants and doctors.
Vinny Volante, 66, is currently not in jail.
You know I love you.
I love you.
We love each other.
He's at home with his youngest daughter and his wife. He's been a career criminal all his life, and as a result, he's spent 27 years of that life behind bars.
Yeah, I've been a right Burke in my life. I've been a utter fucking Burke. I'm sorry for swearing on the camera. But I've took the piss out of the system. I've lost. I've been in padded cells in prison. If any prison officers are watching now, they know I have. I've knocked a few prison officers out. I've knocked a few police officers out. I've knocked a few out. You know, everything isn't violence. I've been a violent man all my life. My hands prevail. Been a violent man all my life. We're not greedy. We're not selfish.
Vinny says he'd like to go straight now, but it's not that easy.
What have I learned? What have I learned? I'm trying to do it right. Try and do it right and you get nothing. Do it wrong and you get everything.
Many older prisoners claim to find themselves in jail for economic reasons, because the gap between the rich and the poor has grown greater than they can cope with.
When you have a culture where there are marked differences in possessions, then quite clearly there will always be a Robin Hood type culture whereby we love the people who steal from the rich and give to the poor. When does a robber become a Robin Hood?
The Rough Hills area of Wolverhampton has never been on the right side of the rich-poor divide. Reuben Forrester, 62, lives here and has recently been in prison for both drug-related and violent crimes, but he has no real sense of guilt about it.
The service in government, they ain't helping us, are they? They ain't there to help us. They're helping themselves and helping the richer get richer. And we go down and down. You got like two tiers in it. One law for the rich, one law for the poor. If you was a middle class person, yeah, and you was put in my position, yeah, I think you would do it. And you see all these people, so much billions they make, and who's making it ain't getting it.
Some people end up in prison having just drifted into a life of crime, because the way of the world changes.
The two of the most corrupting things in modern society are the illegalization of prostitution and the illegalization of drugs. They simply create all sorts of completely unnecessary criminal behaviours and activities. It simply generates more and more criminality.
Adele Lubin, 65, started out life as a fully qualified masseuse, but ended up convicted with her brother Spencer of conspiracy to control prostitution.
The phone kept ringing and it got too busy for me to handle, and I started getting girls to help me. And it was when the girls came to help me that the massage turned itself around into naughty massage. And that's how I actually got started in the massage business with a few extras.
It was only very slightly naughty because, I mean, they were only doing hand relief to start with. The girls were doing sort of hand relief, and it sort of escalated from there. I mean, the girls did their own thing and you had no control over them.
I provided a good place for these girls to work. It's clean, it's warm, it's safe. I've got CCTV cameras by the front door. They can see who's at the door. They don't have to let anybody in if they didn't feel safe or didn't like the look of them. It was a good place. So how did I hurt anybody?
Seeing his sister's success, Spencer decided to start a massage business of his own.
So I decided then to rent a flat in Mill Hill Broadway. And I rented a flat upstairs the post office on the top floor. And I had a very nice flat there. It had 4 very large bedrooms. And that place became more of a brothel than what this place was.
Both Adele and Spencer advertised in the press and on the internet. It was no real secret. As part of the baby boomer generation, they've never had a great deal of respect for convention.
There is a lot of hypocrisy because the law seems to work, I don't know, to suit themselves.
They close their eyes to it 95% of the time.
And the funny thing is all the police all going to these massage parlours, all having massage. It's just the whole thing. That the police themselves go there for massage.
Yeah, they do. They do.
And, you know, they're making use of the service as well.
And for what we've read in the paper this last couple of weeks, so's Prince Andrew.
This older demographic is used to a more tolerant and more freedom-loving society. And now they're grumpy, they're angry, they're fed up, and they don't mind breaking the law too much in order to get what they want because they've never thought of things in any other way.
Adele and Spencer certainly claim to have been surprised when they were finally arrested.
The day they came and arrested me, I just kept thinking to myself, this is a mistake, this is a mistake. They're going to find out and realise that they've made a mistake.
Some of the prison population would probably not be there if it wasn't for the fact that we no longer have any asylums for the terminally confused or the mentally disturbed.
Asylums up, prisons down, prisons up, asylums down. I mean, and so by closing down the asylums, we've certainly pumped all those aberrant people into jail.
Just one cornetto. Peacock. Give it to me. Keep on.
Richard Dawes, 76, is typical of the older and perhaps more confused and cantankerous lawbreaker. Less a dangerous criminal and more a neighbour from hell. He's rather proud to have been the first pensioner to get the kind of treatment normally reserved for young tearaways, an ASBO.
I was the first one in the country to have an ASBO put on me. First one in the country. And this ASBO lasts until I'm 84.
Richard's neighbours complain about his loud and aggressive behaviour, and his ASBO details what he's not allowed to do.
It says here, making loud animal noises, using or threatening violence, using foul or abusive language or gestures.
Richard denies abusing his neighbour and blames it on the calls of his guinea fowl.
Look at him saying, hear him saying, scumbag, scumbag. Look. Come back, come back, come back, come back, come back. You can hear it faintly, you see, and he says it's me calling him a scumbag. Really. They want to misunderstand me, really. They want to do me down. They want to destroy my reputation that I've had all my life.
Richard has been in prison before for breaching an antisocial behaviour order. He served 6 months.
I've said in court, I'm pro-social, 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 not antisocial. I just cannot take in that I'm antisocial.
He's now on a 2-year suspended sentence.
I mean, if they complain about me now, it'll be another breach. And there'll be no messing within 2 years, if it's within 2 years. I should be straight into prison.
Perhaps not surprisingly, the grey criminals themselves don't think that prison is the right place for them.
They kept me in there for 6 months. The maximum 6 months. It was confusing. I didn't know where the hell I was, did I? It was very, very confusing.
I just could not stop crying. I just feel like I want to cry when I think about it now. I felt like a rat in a trap. It was awful. I thought, I haven't done anything to deserve this. I don't need this.
You become a bigger one than when you went in, if you understand what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. You go in for a little petty thing now, you come out, the next thing you know, you can rob the bank.
Putting a person of my age in jail, absolutely ridiculous. It's bonkers. What could it achieve, putting a man of my age in prison?
The rising population of older prisoners is certainly creating problems. The prison service is having to convert some parts of their buildings in order to accommodate the special needs of the rising pensioner population. Wild Pictures have been promised access to one of those converted prison wings to investigate what's behind the grey crime wave, because it doesn't look as if it's going to go away.
I still get the urge of doing something that I shouldn't want to do, obviously because of the money situation. We're all in that predicament at the moment in this day and age. Everyone's on the breadline. Today, you have to do it to survive. What a wonderful world!